Hello again. Welcome to another episode of Leading from Alignment with our good friend, coach, and mentor, John Opalewski. How are you today, John?
Hey, Jim, I'm doing good. Nice spending some time catching up with you prior to recording today.
Yeah. Summer is upon us. You can tell because we both look so tan, you know,
Yes,
from
you
that.
look more tan than I do.
Yeah, it's the lighting. Yeah, there's a filter called Tan Guy, and only one chin. I hit both buttons. I have one chin and a tan, so it has to be mechanically manipulated nowadays through AI. Right on. Good. So, hey, tell us about episode 341. It seems like this is one that everybody has needed, does need, or will need in the future.
Yeah. It's called Pastoring Through Offense.
Yeah.
And I want to credit our listeners and watchers for this one.
Yeah.
Actually, the last several, our listeners and watchers have really contributed some great
Good.
ideas to us. And so I just want to give a shout out to that particular individual. You know who you are. And
Yeah.
we're grateful for you and your friendship.
Yeah.
Jim, it's not any secret that people aren't just more offended in 2026. They're often quicker to interpret any disagreement
Yeah.
as an offense.
Yeah.
And this is our current reality.
Yeah.
And it's made, if it were possible, it's made pastoring even more complex. Um, here's the tension. I think pastors are wrestling with this tension because they're telling us this. That there's this tension between empathy. How do we balance being an empathetic leader with challenging people to develop and grow?
Yeah.
And how do we validate people's feelings or experiences without reinforcing fragility? Um, does that make sense?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think that's a tension, and I think the key thought maybe I'd like us to start with today, and I just want to hear your initial thoughts on it here after I say this, is that offense isn't just something that happens to us, it's something we interpret.
Yes. We
It's
choose.
something we carry, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes it's something we cultivate.
Yes.
We nurse.
Yeah.
We nurture it. So, what do you think, just initially, Jim, about the subject, and
Yeah.
then we'll
Well,
dive right in?
I think the culture shifted several years ago to the most powerful person in the room is often the person who is the victim. And
Mm,
whereas when we were kids, the person who got bullied, read the back of the comic book and went to the gym and came back and beat up the bullies. That was kind of the story. Was Clark Kent was a meek person, but not a weak person. He was Superman, but he could take a beating. But he
mhm.
was strong and so forth. Now, I am concerned about oh not having the courage to confront issues.
Yes.
People, we cancel them rather than resolve issues with them. Offense again is an empowering thing. Used to be almost an embarrassing thing. Like I don't even know why I'm so angry about this, but I'm angry about this and it's embarrassing. Now it's like I'm angry about this and this is my new identity. So I
Yes.
think as we talk about offense, it's important for people that are listening to recognize that when people come to you offended, this offense probably occurred long before you came into their lives. The
That's
wounds that you've
interesting.
touched on, you probably didn't create, but
Yeah.
if I'm not burned, then this doesn't hurt hitting my hand. But if there's a burn there, that's very painful. So most of the pain we're seeing in people's lives, we didn't create, but we are seeing the result of it. So we're in a position to help, to heal, to pray, to restore. And if you don't know that, it just feels like a fight. You're fighting me,
Yeah.
I'm going to fight you back. And if you know that people are
Yeah.
there because they're wounded, well, I'm a healer. I would love to help you through this. But again,
Right.
that first default setting for me is I probably didn't create this offense. I probably touched it, but I didn't create it. And so I
Right.
don't have to take it personally that you're
Yeah.
offended with what I said or what I did or what I didn't say,
Yeah.
what I didn't do.
And I think it's important to distinguish between genuine harm,
Hmm.
real injustice,
Yes.
abuse, um, disrespect,
Yeah.
things like that. I think that those are harmful, and I don't think
Yes.
we should diminish that.
Yep.
But then there's perceived offense.
Yeah.
Uh, sometimes we get offended because we don't understand what somebody just said to us. We
Right.
misunderstand.
Yes.
Sometimes we feel offended when our expectations aren't met. Well, welcome to life.
Well, that offends me, John, that you were that blunt.
Yes, I
I'm
know.
hurt by that.
We'll
Yeah.
coach. We'll have a session after we're done here to help you with that.
Thank you.
Um, Dr. Paul Meyer said something a long time ago, and it was so bold.
Mm,
I didn't agree with it, and I'm not even sure I still agree with it.
yeah.
He said the best expectation that you should have of people is to have no expectation.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I thought, I don't know if I agree with that, but there is something to that, right? That
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
it's the idea that people will disappoint you, that people will um, not always be kind,
Yeah.
and so I think that unmet expectations would fall under that category of perceived offense.
Yeah.
I think some of us are just uber sensitive, and I'm one of those people. I'll
Yeah.
confess. I'm an incredibly sensitive person. There's
Mm,
strength to that, um, but there's a dark side to that
sure. Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Um, and I think I perceive any slight as this big deal,
Yeah.
and it's not a
Yes.
big deal. Most of the time, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I have this incredibly sensitive radar for tone. If that makes
Interesting.
any sense.
How are we friends? I have no I have no sense of yeah. My wife will say, "You
God's
sounded
working on me.
angry." Yeah, I'm like, wow, I didn't mean to sound angry. It's just the way I talk.
I think another example of perceived offense is a reacting to reasonable accountability.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah. And so I think it's important to distinguish. There are things that I think are offensive.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
don't think we should treat people poorly. I don't think we should be manipulative or coercive.
Absolutely.
Obviously, we shouldn't say one thing and do another,
Sure.
things like that. But everything seems to be under that category of I'm offended, and I think we need to parse between
Good.
um, those two streams. Uh, you
Especially as
know,
pastors, especially as
yeah, and
leaders. Yeah.
100% right. I mean,
Yeah.
we've got to have some perception in order to, if we're going to
Yeah.
pass you through a fence, we have to have an idea of what's legit and what might not be.
Yeah.
Um, I wondered, I took some time thinking about this one, Jim. Why are people so easily offended right now?
Okay.
And I came up with a couple ideas, three ideas actually, but I wonder, I would love you to add anything to it. I think we are seeing a very low or non-existent tolerance for discomfort.
Hmm. Yeah.
We've lost the art of sitting with ambiguity or tension or critique.
Yeah.
I think that that's part of the reason. There is I mentioned it earlier. There seems to be some fragility. Now I don't want to paint with a broad brush here.
Yeah.
And so when somebody points out, hey, this could have been done better, uh, or you missed the ball, this was not your best work, this wasn't
Yeah.
your best effort. Um, those people are actually doing you a favor,
Yes.
as opposed to them allowing you to get away with less than your best effort.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think there's this lack of tolerance for discomfort. Definitely, there's digital overload.
Yeah.
Um, Online spaces reward outrage
Hmm.
and and responses that are not well thought out.
Yeah. That's a good way to say that. Rewards responses that are not well thought out. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yes.
and I think that I'm seeing this an uptick in emotionally driven reasoning.
Sure.
Now, you know me, Jim, you've known me for a long time. I'm not anti-emotion.
Sure.
Uh, Emotions are things that God created us with.
Yeah.
But here's what I mean by that. Here's what an emotionally driven reasoning. Here's an example of it. I feel hurt, therefore I was wrong.
Yes. Yeah.
Those two are not necessarily always together,
Right. Yeah.
right? I
Right.
can feel hurt
Yeah.
about a lot of stuff that nobody did anything wrong.
Yeah.
And because I've allowed my emotions to rule me. Jesus teaches us to pay attention to our emotions, not to be ruled by them.
Yes.
And so I think these are some of the reasons. I'm curious what you think.
Well, I think that's very astute. I think your observations are 100% on. I think going back to that thought I had earlier, where we've rewarded people as victims, that your victimhood has empowered you. So even a sense of disagreement is now discrimination, you
Right.
know, and this goes in every direction in our society. This is not just one group or the other group or just Democrats or just Republicans.
Mhm.
There's something uniting about we victims coming together to unite against whatever we perceive as unjust. So I think we look for safety. I think we look for power. I think we look for a sense of security. We find it in community and finding a fence. It was like a full-time job during COVID for people just scouring, relationships. And then again, I want to use my language may be offensive. And I don't mean to do that, but it's it's not, we say, well, it's wise. I broke off a relationship because it was toxic. That's a narcissist. These are very specific terms in mental health care. And
Yes,
and
they
it,
are.
you disagree with me politically, so you're narcissistic and you're toxic, and so I cut you off. Well, can we just be honest? You're a coward and you're afraid to have a conversation that might cause you more emotional stress. And you're a lazy coward. You're not a victimized hero. And is that too strong? Or maybe it's just too strong. We'll censor if it
No, I
is.
don't. I don't think it's too strong. I think it's accurate, and I think the we can say those types of things
Yeah.
as a pastor. We can say those types of things. It needs to have a pastoral tone to it. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
and but
Yeah.
I mean,
So
with
in the form of a question then, is it possible that the reason you're breaking off a relationship is not because what the person does is offensive to you, but because you lack the emotional capital to actually try to resolve an issue and
yeah,
and try to understand another point of view and attempt to make peace with your mother-in-law? Those sorts of
yeah.
things, right?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that tone because see, Pastor, I think where we get into trouble is when we swing to one side of this or the other.
Yes.
And we're just so we swing to the frustration side and there's no filter. We just
Yeah.
blast people.
Yeah.
Um, or we swing to the other side where we're afraid to even talk to people
Yeah.
this honestly, this forthrightly, and we duck, dodge, delay, uh,
Yeah.
you know, postpone. That's one of your favorite words when it comes to this kind of stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Obfuscate.
And
Yeah.
right, and so the middle ground is in this. Paul says, "Speak. We speak the truth in love." Jesus came
Yeah.
with grace and truth,
Yes.
and so I think we learn how to navigate it by following Jesus' example and
Yes.
following
Yes.
Paul's example, but
Yeah.
neither of them shied away
No, they did not. No, they did
from
not.
saying this is
Yeah.
what this feels like, seems like, looks like in
Yes.
you. What about that?
Yeah.
Um, so thought about what does the spirit of offense mean? A couple of things here.
Yeah.
I think it's you can see it in a posture of defensiveness.
Yeah.
And I know from personal experience as a young pastor that a posture of defensiveness issues from insecurity sometimes. Sometimes it's a lack of teachability
Yeah.
uh, a lack of humility, which I think those two kind of go together. I think a spirit of offense is a tendency to assume. the worst intent
Hmm. Yeah,
from
that's good. Yeah.
like, you know, when somebody says something and it doesn't land well with you, you have options there.
Yeah.
It might be, hey, they didn't mean to say that. I know they love me, and so they probably didn't mean it to come across like that.
Yeah.
Or I can go the other route and just say, they hate me, they're mad at me, they don't love me, they don't
Right.
like me, this relationship's over,
Right.
blah
Cancel.
blah blah, and here we
Yeah.
go, right?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think I think that is one of the characteristics of it. I think here's another one. I think it's an inclination to hold on to hurt instead of processing it.
Yeah.
A spirit of offense doesn't have anything to do with feeling anger or not feeling anger.
Right.
It's
Interesting.
it it's 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 building a nest in your anger.
Mm.
Put it that way.
Yeah, it's good.
It's where I live there. I won't let go of
Right.
it. I'm using my anger to punish
Yes.
my the person who, from my perception,
Yes.
has hurt me. So what do
Right.
you think about those three pieces to it, Jim?
Yeah. Boy, you just talked about nesting. Like this is an identity, right? This is an address. This is
Mhm.
where I live. I
Yeah.
I I protect this place. This is where I'm safe. This is where I'm comfortable. Is in my offense. That just seems like such a terrible. I mean, sooner or later, you will be offended by everybody. My
Yeah.
mother, my wife, my sons. I mean, the people closest to me have hurt me. I can't imagine, building my residence in that pain rather than wanting to resolve it. I would trade a lifelong dear relationship, and I think take it out even farther, at church. I left my church because that one family said that thing or did that thing, or the pastor
Hmm.
didn't or did, or what. Man, you just go, you're isolating yourself, which is devil bait.
Hmm.
He's a prowling lion and you're isolating yourself. Are you sure that's the right course of action? So I would say if anybody's listening, that's like they're nodding their head, but they're also wiping a tear saying this is what I do. It's how I defend myself, protect myself. I think what John is saying here today, guys, is it doesn't protect you and it doesn't defend you. It actually isolates you and makes you far more vulnerable to what
Right.
you're in pain with right now. You'll trust less, so your relationships are shallower. You'll trust fewer, so there's less things to enjoy. If it's just you and the
Hmm.
History Channel every Friday night, you know you've made some mistakes, in processing your offense.
Yeah.
It's not a good identity. You will be offended, but you can get through this, by understanding that's not your new identity. It's a
Right.
diagnosis of a problem. It's not a new identity.
That's right. And so there's a real cost to living offended.
Sure there is.
Um, it erodes. You already mentioned this. You didn't say it this way, but you have said this. It erodes relationships,
Yes. Yeah.
and sometimes permanently, and sometimes even our relationship with Jesus.
Yes.
I've been around a few folks in almost 52 years now of walking with the Lord
Yeah.
who got so offended. Not only did they lose a relationship with another human being, they used that as the rationale for them to disconnect themselves from Jesus.
Yeah.
Incredibly sad when I see that happen. It pains me to watch that unfold. So it erodes relationships. It stunts our growth. I can't learn, Jim. I can't learn anything if everything feels like an attack.
Yeah.
And I wish everybody would package the truth with graciousness. And I do believe a good leader should combine those two elements. But
Yeah.
here's the truth. I've learned some important things that I've needed to know from teachers, coaches, and leaders that didn't always put it in a pretty package. Seventh grade teacher yelled at me at the top of her lungs. Shut up, John. All you do is talk, talk, talk.
Yeah.
I
Not our
needed to
best
hear
moment.
that. I needed to
Yeah.
hear that though. She was
Yeah.
actually right.
Yeah.
That's all. That's
Yeah.
all I did. It embarrassed me.
Yeah.
Um, but I look back at that and I think one, she was prophetic. I talk for a living.
Yeah.
I talk and
Thanks for
listen now.
noticing my gift.
She'd be really proud of me. I talk and listen. Um, but we've all had those people in our life,
Yeah.
and if you're waiting for everything to be in a pretty package, you're going to miss some important learning points in
Yeah.
your life. Let me give you one more, and I'd love to just
Yeah.
hear your feedback on it. And again, you've kind of preempted all of this. It's really awesome that I think
Okay.
we're on the same page here. The cost of living offended is that it creates isolation. You use that exact word.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you said this, that you didn't say it this way, but you said it. Every human being has the potential of hurting you, but
Sure.
not every human being is out to get you.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want to live in a bubble, you can do that, but your world is going to shrink.
Yes. Yeah.
And you've painted yourself into a relational corner, and it is so easy for the devil to destroy you
Yeah.
because you don't have the support system you need. So I'm going to stop there.
Yeah. Well,
Just want to hear a couple
yeah,
of your
I mean,
thoughts.
just I think in pictures. So what I heard you say there is you're building this castle to defend yourself against the onslaught of those outside your walls, but it's such a small castle that it really is a jail cell.
Mm,
You're and it's cruel and unusual punishment to isolate somebody. That literally it's against the Geneva Convention and war. It's against the rights as American citizens, unless it's to protect somebody or they're so dangerous to others because of the psychological damage it does to be isolated. We are, it's not good for man to be alone. It will never
right,
be good for man to be alone. And there is no such thing as a safe human relationship. And I
right.
think and instead of being sarcastic or being like, well, I guess there's no such thing as a safe, just there's no such thing. So I'm going to have to be, and you teach on this a lot, John, unless the Father's words to Jesus, and I'm now in Jesus, is enough, that this is my beloved son with whom I'm well pleased. You're my kid. I love you and you make me happy. If we can't hear the Father's voice, we can never be in a human relationship because we cannot get from man what we can only get from God. So that hurt me. Well, what was it that hurt you? Well, they hurt my identity. Well, you shouldn't be getting your identity from them. Well, what did it hurt?
Right.
Well, it hurt my sense of pride. Well, that's not necessarily a bad thing. You shouldn't, there's a good pride, there's a bad pride,
Yeah.
but God is going to give us everything we need to be in human relationships. Human relationships can never give us what only God can give us. And we have to be the adult, if you will, in the room when something goes wrong, where I don't need you to affirm me. I'm going to affirm you even though you're my enemy, because
Yeah.
I don't believe you're supposed to be my enemy, you know?
No. And I would say it this way. I do think there are safe relationships. I don't think there are relationships that have no risk attached to them, though.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
Every relationship has risk.
Yep. Even with a dog.
Different,
Yep.
varying degrees, right?
Yep.
Of
Absolutely.
that. So how do we pastor people through this minefield
Yeah.
of offense? I think we start with empathy and grace and then bring the correction. That would be, again, it doesn't always happen like that, but I think that would
Yeah.
be a good formula. And here's why. I think people don't hear if they feel dismissed.
Mhm.
If
Yeah.
they feel dismissed, something happens to their hearing.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
and so use a phrase like, "Yeah, I know that hurts you. Tell me more about that."
Right. Right.
And avoid that urge to jump straight to the phrase, "You shouldn't feel like that."
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't even like that the word should or shouldn't. I don't like it very much.
Yeah.
That's because it's overused and used applied improperly most of the time. So start with empathy and grace. Help people to slow down. People who are really hurt
Right.
or feel hurt. Help them to slow down.
Yeah.
So you can ask some questions like, what exactly did they say to you? Um, what did you assume it meant?
Yeah.
Now we're pastoring here, right? We're
Right.
pastoring
Right.
people.
Yeah.
Is there another possible interpretation to this?
It's good.
So as I'm pastoring people who feel hurt, I want to slow them down
Yeah, it's
and
good.
get them out of emotion and into thinking a little more.
Yeah.
Um, at some point, Pastor, you're going to have to model and teach the people you lead. You're going to have to teach them nuance. Something can hurt without malicious intent.
Yeah, sure.
Um, I've had to let some people go in my career.
Yeah,
I didn't have a malicious bone in my body when that
right.
happened. It broke
Yeah.
my heart.
Yes.
Every time I've had to do it, it broke
Yeah.
my heart to do it, but I knew it was the right thing to do for that person, for the organization.
Yeah.
Um, so teaching our people nuance. Here's another nuance thing. Not every hurt requires confrontation.
Mhm.
Some do,
Yeah.
and some need to roll off our back like water off a duck.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
nuance.
Yeah.
See, and so I can't tell you when you get to this point, now it's a confrontation that needs to be had, or you're going to have to figure some of this out. And
Yeah.
and we so pastoring people through that. One more thing, and then I'd love to hear your thoughts because you're still pastoring in a church.
Yeah.
Um, Part of pastoring people through offense is helping them build resilience
Yeah.
and helping them reframe correction as care,
Right.
not rejection.
Yeah.
um, and encouraging curiosity over defensiveness. So this is a hard thing for me to do, but when somebody kind of lays into me, I need to ask myself the question, what might be true about what that leader said to me?
It's a good question. Yeah.
How have I contributed to that reaction?
Yeah.
What part of it is mine to own? So there's this, and we're just kind of touching the surface on how we pastor people through. Hopefully, these are some good starters for our listeners, watchers. Jim, what do you
Yeah.
think about this piece of the
Yeah.
puzzle
Asking
today?
myself, did it offend me because it actually struck a nerve that I'm sensitive to, right? They said something
Yeah,
and it bothered me. Why did that bother me? And the thing before that didn't bother me. It might be they might have their finger on something. And at the same time, just because it hurts doesn't mean it's bad. And just
hmm
because it's constructive criticism doesn't mean you have to take it. So I think it helps me to know that I'm safe. Back to that message you talk a lot about. I'm God's kid. He loves me and I make him happy. From there, I really am a little bit unoffendable from that position.
hmm
What are you going to take from me? So if you're observing something that needs to change in me, I feel safe enough now to talk about it. Maybe not with you, but with somebody else. Is that true? Is that a real observation? Is that,
Yeah,
and I think good things can come out of it. But yeah, just assume it offended me, therefore it's a lie. It's probably not a good assumption. It
that's
offended
right.
me, therefore it's true. It's probably not a good assumption. So there's got to be a
Right.
process with somebody you
Yeah.
do trust to say, Fred said this. Yeah,
Yeah.
have you seen that in me? I trust you that it does. You can't offend me. I'm asking you for your input. Am I fat? Or whatever. Does this shirt make me
And
look
Jim,
fat? You know.
and I've done that. I've done that. I've had people say things to me that hurt
Yes.
and
Yeah.
stung. And I would go to somebody who I know loved me,
Yeah.
but would tell me the truth and
Yeah.
say, "Hey, I had somebody say this to
Yeah.
me. What do you think?
Yeah.
Is there truth there? And if there is, please point it out because I know
Yeah.
you love me and have my best interest in
Right.
mind."
Right.
So I do think that that's a really good thought. You know, I know we're kind of butting up against time here, so I'd like to kind of go into high gear with the rest
Okay. Yeah.
here. Just got a couple of other things I want to talk about. So how do we pastor when the offense actually is valid? Like when
Okay.
somebody has really truly been hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's important to acknowledge, uh, and you said this, some offenses point to real issues,
Yeah.
like boundary violations or disrespect and things like that. Some work scenarios are truly toxic
Yeah.
and damaging. And we're
Yeah.
not we're not encouraging you to labor in an environment that is truly toxic,
Sure.
truly damaging. I've labored in maybe two of those environments my entire
Yeah, it's
career.
awful.
In
Yeah.
gym, I had to spend 20 minutes every morning on the side of the bed
Yeah.
talking myself into
Yeah.
going into work that day. That's how
Right.
bad it was.
Yeah.
It was a scenario where it was demeaning,
Mm.
humiliating,
Yeah.
yelling,
No.
screaming. Life's too short
Yes.
to work in an environment that has that as its kind of pattern, so to
Yeah.
speak. So acknowledge that. Um, if the offense is valid, we're sorry this happened to you. And you've got two choices here. You can either become numb,
Right.
and or angry, as we said, or you can become discerning.
Right.
Maybe this hurt you because a button got pushed and it's a sore spot in your life. And maybe God used that person, however, they may not have done it the way God would have done it,
Yeah.
to bring to light something in your life that is not been healed yet,
Right.
that hasn't received
That's why it hurts.
grace
Yeah.
from me, and that's why it's still painful
Yeah.
for you. And I think this that not maturity isn't never feeling offended.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. It's knowing what to do when it does happen.
Yeah.
And so when we're pastoring people through real offense, I think letting them know, you can't control what some people say to you, but you can control what you carry.
Yes.
And a healthy community isn't one where no one gets offended. It's one where people know how to respond
Yes.
when
Grown-ups.
when it happens.
Yeah.
And so, Jim, I think we're going to do this. We're going to drill deeper on this subject in the next podcast in
Great.
342. We're going to
Yeah.
talk about the difference between accountability and offense because I think there's a lot
Good.
of confusion right
Yeah.
there. So go ahead and wrap us up, Jim, with
I say, yeah, if you
closing
if you make
thoughts.
yourself accountable to a guy who's just he gets his identity from telling the pastor or the leader how wrong he is, that's really bad. But if you think
Yes.
everybody's that, that's really bad too. So I look forward to episode 342 here in a week or so. So, hey, if this has been something that's been helpful to you, therapeutic, something our friend Josh Spurlock, who's been a guest a couple times on this, says that it helps to get it all out, that limbic
Mhm.
resonance where you feel heard. Yeah, and the question he said at the end of every statement is there anything else? And is there
Mhm.
anything else? Until there's nothing else. It really is a wonder. I've done it many times since Josh taught us this. Is there anything else? I've been the one who's saying it, and there's more, there's more. Okay, there's nothing else to say. And really, something John says a lot is a burden shared by definition is half as weighty as it used to be because
Mhm.
someone's helping you lift it now. And coaching, we're not counselors. That's not what we're talking about, but
That's right.
there's very few people that understand what a leader, what a pastor goes through. If you've never been a leader or a pastor, how does it even help to tell somebody? I don't complain to my dog because she doesn't know what it is to be a person. So if Converge coaching can be helpful to you, if nothing else, but to sit with you until there's nothing else to say and let you get it all out before word is said, you would be shocked at the load that is relieved by sharing it. So again, we're not counselors. We know counselors and we can recommend counselors, but coaching
Yes.
sometimes is just sitting still and letting someone get it all out and before you say a word. And we would love to be that in your life. John, myself, a great cadre of seasoned veterans that know what you're going through because we've been through it and would love to be a listening ear. So convergecoach.com. You'll see it right there. The first thing is let's have a half an hour to talk. And if half hour is not enough to get it all out, then we'll talk some more about other times. But we would love
Yeah.
to be a part of your story because we believe that God has a calling on your life. There's a reason, there's a purpose, there's a meaning. And believe it or not, sometimes the worst of circumstances become the best of teachings. So you're a
That's
teacher,
right.
you're a pastor, you're a leader. Nothing's wasted. All this is going to play into a narrative that helps you help others, which is your heart. So God bless you, our watchers and listeners. Man, we're cheering for you. We know it's tough. We know it's weighty. Um, let's talk. And we hope to hear from you again soon. God bless you as you continue to lead from alignment.